God's agenda over our agenda. Amen. Amen. This is the spinach of the Bible. This is the kale of the Bible. You know, good for you, but just hard to swallow. I hate kale. Anyone in here like kale? Anyone like kale? You guys are crazy. Kale's horrible. Where did kale come? Nobody was eating kale 20 years ago. It just sprung to existence like 6 years ago. And I'll try to, you know, I told you this last time I was here, my doctor's all over me about my health, and so I'll try to eat kale. It's supposed to be a superfood, whatever. And like I'll order a kale salad when I go to dinner, and then the guy on my right will have a cheeseburger, and so I'll go, can you make mine a kale Caesar? Okay. And then the next guy over here, he's going to order the lasagna, right? And I'm like, can you come back, waitress? I'm going to change mine. Can you make it a kale Caesar? Can you throw some chicken and some anchovies on it? Okay, cool. And then this guy orders pizza, right? I'm like, come back. Can you just throw a slab of ribs on my kale salad? You know, I'm going to have the baby back Caesar. Do you have a baby back Caesar? I'm going to have that. But I hate kale. Listen, your kingdom come, your will be done, verse 10. In other words, before I get to my needs, my wants, my desires, my complaints, God, I just want you to know, whatever your answer is about my stuff, let your will be done. I'm okay with that. Let your will be done before my will. You know, let's have your kingdom come before my kingdom comes. Let's have your agenda played out before my agenda. And in many ways, this is where the real wrestling match with God begins, between us and God. Because if we're being honest again, none of us really like the concept of submitting our will, our agenda, and the expansion of our territory. None of us really like submitting that under the umbrella of someone else's will and agenda and expansion of their territory. And if we're really telling secrets, none of us really enjoy submission to even God's will. And that's right. And I know some of us are pressing back a little bit. You know, how do you know that? Because I know that because we've all prayed, your kingdom come, your will be done 10,000 times. We have all read it 10,000 times. Matter of fact, we have that written on the tablet of our heart, and yet that isn't how we live our lives in many areas of our lives. As a matter of fact, that isn't even how most of us pray. I heard Andy Stanley say this the other day. If we actually said the verse the way we lived out the verse would read, my kingdom come, my will be done on earth. I don't give a rip about heaven. Real life change, real life transformation happens when we genuinely desire God's will to be done before our will is done. Does that make sense? That's real discipleship progress. And honestly, how long we spend on this portion of prayer is going to depend on how much we're wrestling with God on submitting to His will. It might take a long time. If we're praying about an area that we're having trouble submitting to His will on, we should probably take our prayer into overtime that day. We should probably take our prayer into extra innings that day.